Good afternoon, ladies and gents. Today is the 5th of August, and today I'm going to be casting Team Liquid versus Ninjas in Pajamas. This match was played, I think, about just 2 weeks ago, something like that, in the second to last Latin American Playday, if I do believe so. And looky there, Playday number 6. Now, we've got quite an exciting match ahead of us. Team Liquid, obviously one of the most notorious Brazilian teams who have ever played Rainbow Six Siege altogether. And then NIP, who they've started way back a few years ago as Black Dragons, if I remember correctly. And then later being acquired by the organization known as Ninjas in Pajamas. And across the past few seasons, specifically Season 9, they haven't really had the best showing. They haven't really been up to game. They haven't been up to par as far as their play style and all of their matches actually go. But in Season 10, however, the season which we are currently in, NIP have definitely come back and given practically every single team a run for their money. They have improved significantly compared to the season prior. And so let's see what they hold in stock for us. First sight of the day is going to be none other than the Armory Lockers and Archives on Border, as per usual. Obviously, the most favored sites all across the map. It is sure you can say that Vents and Workshop could be another favorite site, but Border is one of those maps where it's pretty much only got one OK bomb site. One OK bomb site, which is the Armory Lockers, which could be considered as playable. The Ventilation and Workshop, which is meh, it's a second option. It's not the best plan B in the world. And you got the Tellers and Archives, which is straight up the worst site on this map. Desperately needs a rework, some kind of rework. I don't know how, but Ubisoft has got to make it happen sooner or later. And then Customs, which has actually seen a bit of a rise in playability. A lot of teams have managed to come up with a bunch of different strats to actually make it much more viable than it used to be in previous years, because back in the day, nobody would even bat an eye towards the Customs site. It was just practically unplayable. Nobody really ever gave it much thought, because it was practically just a lost cause to even put in the effort to come up with the strategy and execute it on Customs side. But things have changed nevertheless. So Team Liquid, kind of confusing operator pick. They haven't decided to bring a Thermite, which is in this case usually standard when it comes to Border as a whole. NIP have got two roamers up in CCTV that I'm pretty sure is the Jaeger, and I'm not exactly sure who else is playing up close, but there's definitely Jaeger up there. And Team Liquid are going to start off by the usual default checklist, trying to clear out CCTV as efficiently as possible and as quickly as possible, because 1 minute has already dwindled down the clock, and they have to start making a bit more of an effort. Moringa is downstairs trying to relay some information and cook a grenade to just lob above. He'll lob a grenade that'll nearly smack Jaeger in the booty, but nothing will happen. He walks away completely healthy from that grenade. And there's one over by the 90 hallway who is being oh so very aggressive, and Julio gets kill onto Paulu, and Muzi picks up a second kill onto PSK. The man count is now 3-5 in favor of NIP, and Psycho from behind in the break room will pick up a kill onto Nesk, and he will put some shots into Sexy Cake, but will not pick up the kill, however. He'll just quickly heal himself back up to 110 HP, because he is a doc after all. And Moringa and Sexy Cake don't have much to work with. They have limited resources, and they've got a literal mountain and horde to go through. Sexy Cake is slowly creeping up on one of the players behind, puts in a shotgun pellet into Kamikaze, but fails to pick up that kill, and Muzi with the last kill of the round will win it out for NIP. a very aggressive approach from NIP, completely locking down the CCTV room by throwing in as many bodies as possible, which it's just questionable altogether to throw in that many defenders to hold one room. Like, sure, CCTV is the main beachhead for attacking the armory lockers, but throwing in that many bodies, it's, like I said, it's questionable. It is confusing as well, but hell, they managed to pull it off in a rather spectacular manner without losing a single man. And with armory lockers out of the way, the second bomb site for today is going to be the workshop and ventilation room. And Team Liquid bringing out Nesk on the Jackal. Jackal has left unbanned, so you might as well use him while you can. He has also seen a recent nerf. I don't remember if the nerf actually went out at the time that this match was played. I'm assuming it wasn't, but for those who don't already know, Jackal now has been modified in a pretty underwhelming way. Like, a lot of people thought that this change would actually solve the current problems. The current problems that we actually have with the Jackal, but it was just not enough. They reduced the amount of pings on a defender's footprints from 5 pings down to 4 pings, and also the time in between those pings has been shortened. So yes, you do get to find out the live location of said defender much more frequently and much quicker. Back-to-back pings, I mean, more frequently. But then again, for the defender, that actual Jackal track doesn't last as much, so it could be a bit more reassuring now for the defender to get away and not, have much of a headache. Psycho will go out for an interesting run out. I think he just ran out from the archives. That's a pretty long sprint to make to pick up a kill, but he'll go down at the hands of Palu. And Liquid will take control of the east staircase with an iron fist. And they should be moving towards the west side of the building to get control of Armory if they want to take advantage of that verticality. Moringa picks up a kill onto Pino. That is Jaeger off the board. They have a ton of time on their hands right now. 1 minute 30, and they've already gotten rid of 2 defenders, and they're not stopping here. They can just leisure the way. They can stroll their way into the site. There is no rush at this point, really. 4 attackers are going to stack up on the east side of the map over by the teller's office. And they're looking to probably take control of customs in the main blue hallway. There is 1 attacker upstairs who I think will be keeping Muzi in check, just in case he decides to do anything reckless. You're going to have 1 attacker upstairs. Watch out for flanks. Keep Muzi at bay. Shots coming out onto Kamikaze, but none will land, unfortunately. And Palu just saw a tiny pixel of his head, but won't pick up the frag. Nesk gets the kill onto Kamikaze, and it's 2v5. This is not going well for NIP. Muzi will challenge the player who was on Archive's window and will not pick up the frag. Diffuser is going down and everything has been smoked out. Muzi puts in a few shots through the passport wall, picks up no kills, and Julio picked up a kill onto Nesk, and he picks up a second onto Palu, bringing the man count down to 3-2, and Muzi with a jump shot onto Moringa evens the man count to 2v2, and Muzi picks up another one onto Sexy Cake, and it's all up to PSK. But lucky for PSK, both NIP defenders are very low on HP, and PSK will step into a goo mine, and they have to start sticking diffuser. They already know where PSK1 is. If he peeks through that hole, then he might not be able to get them both, but he pulls it out. He manages to pull through, and he wins the round for Team Liquid, equalizing the rounds up to 1-1. Very strong comeback from NIP in that round that we just witnessed. Things weren't looking their way at all, and I mean at all. But Julio and Muzi managed to cook something up together pretty quickly, pretty astonishing as well. They picked up 4 frags, and maybe if they had played that just a tiny bit better at the end, instead of both stacking up on each other, of course, it would have been difficult to have one person actually nail their shots and one person get on the defuse. They nearly got it. They were so close, but they couldn't etch out the victory. So, second time's the charm for NIP. They're going to go back downstairs in the ventilation and workshop. And NIP are going to stack pretty hard up in the armory and in the archives. They have a reinforcement over there, over by the archives wall. Normally that's a very important wall to reinforce. If you bring any part, any soft breacher, whether it be an Ash, Sophia, I guess Buck and Sledge also count in this case, but if you take any soft breacher whatsoever and you make a nice little murder hole over there, you cut off every single rotation throughout the rest of archives and armory. You'll have one extremely long line of sight, and the defenders will be extremely uncomfortable if they try to move from left to right throughout the archives or throughout the armory. So that's the reason they're going to reinforce that up there. If they manage to at least put Sexy Cake, who for some reason is bringing the Supernova on Hibana. We noticed him bring it in the first round, and he's going to bring the Supernova once again. I don't know. Sure, it might be the Latin American style of play, but I'm not going to question it. But if Sexy Cake does manage to get that archives wall open, then they're taking control of the second floor. Taking control of archives and the armory lockers would actually be much more promising. They'll be able to flush out the defenders into very uncomfortable positions inside of armory, and Psycho, looking through a tiny little bullet hole, might see a few bodies. One just vaulted into the office window, but it's not perfectly aligned and he can't get a line of sight onto the attackers. There's 3 of them stacked over there by the east side, and Team Liquid, they have to start moving a bit faster if they want to make this work. So far they've wasted a lot of time, and they're just gathering as much intel as they possibly can. But their initial attack, and the attack that's going to win them to round, we have yet to see. I can't even begin to fathom what they have prepared in this situation. Could be anything, really. There's 45 seconds left on the board, and there's still yet a single frag to come out. They're going to open up the workshop wall and probably just bust in there, guns ablazing, smokes down on the ground, and try to get in a sneaky plant. Muzi upstairs, however, is becoming a bit impatient, and Psycho has an interesting little melee hole, which you could use to maybe catch someone off guard on the east staircase. 2 defenders inside of the workshop. 15 seconds left on the board. Liquid have to move now. Ness picks the kill onto Psycho. Pino 1 onto Sexy Cake and Kamikaze. Another one onto Paul Lu. There's only 5 seconds left, and Diffuser is not in hand for Team Liquid. Kills coming from all sides. PSK gets one last frag before the clock runs out, and with 5 seconds left on the board, just like that, it was very disorganized from Team Liquid, to say the least. The idea for their attack, sure, it was as you would expect. Use the Hibana to open up the workshop wall and go in, throw smokes down who were being carried by Nesk. Nesk has access to smoke grenades. They could have thrown those down and tried to get a diffuse plant, but they were just way too slow. By the time the clock hit 50 seconds, they finally managed to get the wall opened, but NIP just had practically every single angle covered altogether. They had every single angle covered, from the hallway to the newly formed rotation hole and the newly formed breach hole by the Hibana. And Team Liquid should have moved faster, and if they got maybe one frag onto, for example, Muzi, who was upstairs in the armory lockers, then things may have gone a bit more differently. If they had at least gotten one extra frag, things may have gone differently. Even if they decided not to employ that verticality, if they had taken control of army and archives, it still may have gone in their favor. And so, ninjas in pajamas are going to go back upstairs into the armory lockers. Seeing as they have already played 3 rounds, they are now able to go back to the first and most preferable defensive site. NIP putting lots of emphasis on the office side of the map. They're going to reinforce the entire wall, and this is something a bit more funky that we don't usually see. They opened up the entire wall over by small office and put a deployable shield right in front, right in the middle of the office, really. It's kind of confusing what they have in mind here. We'll have to wait and see. I'm pretty sure that Pino with that Alda in hand might try to get some sneaky angles off onto, for example, Moringa, who, if he's not paying attention, might go down at the hands of Pino. And so, Liquid, not the best start, but they have already managed to take control of CCTV, so they've got that in their favor. And they have to start moving a bit faster right now. They've got Sex Cake with the X-Kairos prepped in hand. EMPs coming out, and they're going to open up the armory wall momentarily. Muzi is nowhere close to be seen to put down a shock wire and deny the wall from being breached. So Team Liquid are going to have free entry into the armory right now. And like I said before, it is really puzzling as to why Liquid do not want to bring a thermite. It would certainly make their own lives easier. But at the moment, with just Hibana in hand, it's making NIP's life much easier. One on metal stairs. Paulu will get a nasty flake onto Psycho, and that's the Legion off the board. Moringa with a frag grenade picks up Pino. They no longer have control of the Evil Eyes on site, which is fine, but they can still relay information. Kamikaze picks up a kill onto the Jackal. Neska's off the board, and Sexy Kate goes for a knife onto Kamikaze, and one's inside CCTV. Muzi's trying to land his shots, but Paul, who picks up the kill onto Muzi, and the last kill comes out from PSK onto Julio, securing a second round for Team Liquid, equalizing the scoreboard at 2-2. That was pretty hyper-aggressive from Team Liquid. As soon as they got the wall open, they threw smokes to cover the line of sights coming in from archives or from from Sandwich. I wanted to say Sock. I don't know why I wanted to say Sock, but I know I wanted to say Sandwich and I had brain fart. Anyways, they covered their line of sights with smokes from everywhere else inside of Armory, and they just stacked up over by the half wall. And interestingly enough, I don't think they even bothered to go for a defuse plan. At that point, they were in it just purely for the frags. And hell, it worked out. It worked out pretty well for them. So NIP are going to try it once again upstairs in the armory locker. Hopefully this time it might go a bit smoother for them. And in this case, NIP are not going to be bringing bandits. Instead, Julio is going to be on Valkyrie. Those black eye cameras definitely hold a lot of value, and if you toss them up into some very sneaky spots, you could gather so much information and also prevent them from being destroyed. Lasting the entire round is obviously the best. There is one really cool black Valkyrie camera spot that I do enjoy in the far, I believe it is southwest corner of CCTV. You have a bunch of monitors, and you can't throw it through because there is a metal railing that will just outright block the camera from being thrown. But if you go downstairs into jail and open the floor directly above, you could toss the camera so it lands behind the monitors and behind the railing, giving you practically a perfect perfect view of all of CCTV. But there's no time to dwell on camera positions at this moment. NIP are gonna have two men stacked up inside of CCTV. Psycho on the dock and Muzi on the Jaeger, as per usual. And Psycho, having an ACOG, will be able to challenge those very long angles, and Muzi with his 3-speed will be able to go for aggressive runouts if he chooses to. And of course, Psycho with 3 stim shots in hand will be able to heal him and his teammate up at a moment's notice. Moringa's already downstairs inside jail, and he cooks a frag grenade, tosses it up into the ceiling. He tosses a second one up as well, but they don't even connect at all. I don't think neither Psycho nor Muzi actually took a single point of damage. The information on Muzi the first time was pretty spot on, and Moringa was so close to getting that first frag, just a few centimeters away. Palu challenges Muzi, picks up the kill, and also he picks up Psycho. Liquid managed to clear out the the CCTV in quite a spectacular fashion, all because of Palu. And Kamikaze will challenge PSK, and he'll get the frag with the SMG-11 in hand, and Julio from underneath picks up a kill onto Nesk. 40 seconds left and the man count is 3-3. Paulu with 2 frags under his belt has been doing a lot of work so far this round, but it doesn't stop right there. Team Liquid, they actually have no need for Hibana at all because the armory wall is soft, and Paulu picks up his 3rd kill onto Pino, and now they have site control. There is one behind the bomb who will go down at the hands of Moringa, and one's inside small office who will take a bullet to the face from Paulu. With a total of 4 kills this round, he may have definitely just outright won that round for Team Liquid. He definitely had the balls to go into CCTV and pick up 2 outstanding headshots onto the dock and the Jaeger, creating a very nice solid beachhead for Team Liquid, and then just walking into sight like he was going through a stroll in the park and greeting every single defender he ran into with a nice bullet down the barrel. Team Liquid will take the lead, 3 rounds to 2. And this is the last round we're gonna play before the sides will swap. So NIP will go downstairs into the vents room and into the workshop. Normally you'd say 3rd time's the charm, but I think NIP have learned their lesson because Team Liquid have really been on top of their game these past few rounds, and they've managed to win at attacking armory lockers in really, really interesting / confusing / not in their favor circumstances practically every single time. But hey, it's worked out. It's worked out for them, so NIP are going to mix it up and go to the 2nd most favored defensive site. Muzi will swap off the Jaeger and instead take the other German operator. They'll take Bandit. Curious as to what they might actually use those shock wires on. I'm assuming one probably on the archives wall upstairs. And Team Liquid everyone will toss out their drones and gather as much info as possible. East stairs is clear of roamers. I'm pretty sure they know that there are at least a few upstairs over by the armory side and workshop side. And also there's one inside a CCTV who has a hatch opened right before him in case if things get too hot, he can retreat back down to the customs room and then back into sight once he's actually wasted enough time, or even if he gets a kill. If Pino manages to stay up there for just a few minutes to waste as much time as possible, or even if he picks up a frag onto any single Team Liquid member, then he will have accomplished his job. That is, after all, the job of a roamer, to waste as much time anywhere off of sight to drag the attacker's attention onto themselves instead of the anchors on site. And if they pick up a frag on the way, then, as I said, they've done their job. If they manage to just waste enough time to put the attacking team into a bit of a nervous wreck, then they've also done their job properly. Over 90 seconds have gone off the board, and Team Liquid haven't really done much as of yet. They haven't gotten a single frag. Sure, they have taken some map control, but a lot of the roamers have been left uncontested at the moment. Team Liquid will continue to gather as much information as possible, and I'm assuming that they will momentarily challenge Julio inside of the customs room. If they don't manage to pick up this rook, then things could go sideways for Team Liquid very, very quickly. It's important to get rid of that ACOG as soon as possible. Now, Team Liquid, unlike the last time they were attacking ventilation room, they actually managed to get started, I think, a whole 25 seconds earlier than they did last time. And Diffuser is going to go down by the hands of Sexy Cake. Shots are coming out, and Pino will go down at the hands of Paulu. And now the Diffuser has been planted. Psycho is injured upstairs, and he will get cleaned up by Moringa. Muzi picks up a kill onto Sexy Cake. PSK1, one onto Muzi, and now it's all up to Julio. C4 comes out from Kamikaze onto Diffuser, will not net a single frag. Kamikaze picks up a kill onto Paulu, and they do have enough time to pick up maybe 2 more frags, 3 if they're lucky. One's inside of the waiting room, and that's Nesk, who will take out Julio, and he'll put some shots into Kamikaze, but won't get a frag. And Moringa, from inside of the ventilation room, establishes a nice crossfire and picks up the kill onto Kamikaze, winning their 4th round for Team Liquid, closing the first half at 4-2. Good job, Team Liquid. You didn't wait until the dying seconds of the round for everything to crumble in front of you and outright lose the round. They did it good. They did good this time. They didn't take all the time in the world, and by all the time in the world, I mean they didn't use up a full 3 minutes to open up a single wall and get the Diffuser down. Sexy Cake, as soon as he opened up that wall, he just jumped right into the workshop, found some cover, dropped Diffuser, and then the kills practically presented themselves for Team Liquid. Things could not have gone any smoother for Team Liquid in that round. And now, they're gonna go upstairs to the armory locker. Once again, putting major emphasis on the office, using all 3 reinforcements on that office wall, denying ninjas in pajamas any entry into office other than the one little tiny window and the somewhat big doorway in the middle of the hallway. Now, NIP, what is this are we seeing? Are we seeing Kamikaze with the FBI shoddy? What's the trend with Latin America choosing hard breachers and then using shotguns on them? That has me completely befuddled. Like, I thought it was completely fine to have Hibon on the Supernova, even though it is one of the more, one of the weaker shotguns. It practically shoots like a Nerf gun if you actually think about it. It doesn't have the power of the SAS shotgun, but using the FBI shotgun, I mean, you don't even see that being played on Pulse or Castle at this level. Why on earth would you want to bring it on Thermite? Especially when Thermite has a pretty okay rifle. Like, sure, it doesn't have the best rate of fire in the world, but still, it gets the job done with an ACOG. And Kamikaze, I think he may have just made his own life a bit more difficult than he anticipated. He'll have to use the M1911 to do all of the work at much larger distances. Moringa's, excuse me, Pino is downstairs as the Buck, trying to use a skeleton key to create as many lines of sight as possible. 3 people stacked over close to the office side, one's in fountain, and Nesk will drop down. Maybe he'll go for a run out. He is getting information that there is one over by the sandwich window, so if he decides to go for a run out from the ventilation wall, then he might pick up a kill. Kamikaze did manage to open up the armory wall, or I think it was already opened up by the defenders. Psycho picks up a kill onto Sexy Cake, and there's 45 seconds left on the board. NIP have everything they need to make this work. Pino picks up a kill onto Moringa, and Muzi cleans up the already downed Paul Lu. PSK1 from down below will pick up Kamikaze, and Julio gets a kill onto PSK1, and now it's all up to Ness coming from behind his CCTV. Doesn't manage to land his shots onto Muzi. There's 2 attackers on very low HP, and there's 20 seconds left on the board. NIP have everything going in their favor. Now the diffuser is going down, I think over by the half wall or somewhere else in sight. He managed to injure 1. And Nesk's life will end right over there as Pino picks up the last frag, looking through the soft wall from the small office over to the CCTV door. And just like that, NIP have managed to pick up their own round number 3. So Team Liquid are going to give it yet another go upstairs. I genuinely do not understand what is going on. I don't understand why they're leaving the armory wall open. It's practically granting the attacking team free entry at this point. Sure, they might have Maestro's evil eyes lurking about and watching, but it just doesn't seem that logical to have the armory wall opened in under any circumstances at all. It is much more reassuring to have the armory wall reinforced, to have a bandit sit behind there and try to deny the hard breachers as much as possible. It just seems much more... Yeah, it just seems much more favorable for the defensive squad to do so. So, I don't understand Team Liquid's thought process. It's completely fine to reinforce the CCTV wall. That isn't really that questionable. It definitely gives the attacking squad one less line of sight when holding diffuser if it has just been planted over by the armory wall, which is understandable. And also, if you're gonna hold CCTV with an iron grip, then you know what? Screw it. Go ahead and put a few reinforcements on that wall as well. So Pino will pick up a kill on Sexy Cake, and I think that Liquid are asking for a rehost if my Portuguese abbreviations are up to par. And I'm pretty sure that, like I said, if I remember my Portuguese pretty well, I'm pretty sure that the admins have just let us know that the round has started, the round will be finished, and that the rehost will come after the round is done. So Team Liquid at an early disadvantage, 3-5, Sexy Cake having gone down and Moringa having, disconnected. Was that Moringa? No. Excuse me, I didn't exactly see who got disconnected, but they'll be back momentarily after the rehost has gone through, so NIP are gonna quickly get the server wall opened. They have Pino to help with that. They have Psycho on the Zofia to help with that as well. Moringa will go down. I'm not sure at the hands of whom, but in any case, he will be revived up to 20 HP by Paul Lu. Flash grenades coming out, and Paul Lu will pick up a kill onto Psycho, and going down to Muzi. Muzi picks up his second, and the last defender, PSK1, has ran outside to the archives wall, and he will go down at the hands of Kamikaze. nothing much to be said there. Unfortunately, Team Liquid did have one player disconnect and they were left in an early advantage. It's not like, yeah, much would have actually happened. So for right now, I'm just going to skip a tiny bit ahead. And we're going to go back to the match. NIP managed to tie things out 4-4. And Nesk has rejoined us once again. And Team Liquid are going to go downstairs into the ventilation and workshop room. So, they've tried defending armory lockers twice so far. The first time it didn't go so smoothly, and the second time they were 2 men down really early, one due to a disconnect. So hopefully now, since they've got all men back in the match and up to strength, maybe they can edge out a win downstairs in the ventilation room and workshop. So now things are starting to make a bit more sense than usual. They do have Paulu on the bandit upstairs, denying control of armory by putting some shock wires on the armory wall. Definitely much more... It's definitely something that we're much more used to seeing as opposed to opening the armory wall and basically crippling yourself from the start of the round. But sure. NIP are going to drone out the roamers up top, and they're going to start off by taking control of the armory side as swiftly as possible. They do not, however, have a Thatcher to get rid of those shock wires, so they're going to have to rely on either Pino or Psycho to do it from below. Psycho's going to toss out some flashes, and if he decides to push in, things won't be too great for him because there is one over by the half wall who is watching him, and nevertheless, Psycho does decide to push in, and he manages to injure Paul loose, so he will also be cleaned up with a frag grenade coming out from Pino. And now, NIP are free to open up the armory wall. Phone call coming out, and Team Liquid are just going to let the phones ring and ring all the way down as the timer goes. So, NIP have managed to push out the roamers a bit further back into the second floor. And they've established themselves a point of entry into the armory side, and now they can get to work. And Pino inside of the supply room will most probably open up a small little rotation. Or no, he's going to push in through... He's going to continue to stay in customs and slowly but surely challenge someone over by the main hallway and inside of the workshop. I believe that's the Valkyrie inside of the bathroom at the moment. So right now, if I'm not mistaken, Julio must have already picked up the phone and hacked it from Paulu, so NIP, they should definitely have access to all of the defenders' cameras as of right now. 2 kills come out. Kamikaze and Muzi each pick up a kill for themselves. One's already in sight. Moringa will pick up the kill onto Pino, and Nesk with the pistol will pick up Muzi. It's all up to Julio and Kamikaze. They have 25 seconds left. One's already in sight, and he is slowly creeping his way. Julio is covering from behind, and Nesk from above will pick up frag onto Kamikaze. Julio with the C75 in hand has to make something work. He picks up the kill onto Moringa. There's only 10 seconds left, and he does have 2 smokes in hand. He'll toss a smoke, pick up diffuser, and just sit right in the smoke and get to planting. Nesk from above has to drop and stop the diffuse plant as fast as possible. He doesn't know where Julio is, and from the other side of the workshop table, Julio will pick up the kill onto Nesk, securing a 5th round for NIP. It almost looked like he didn't have that. It almost looked as if Julio didn't have that. Very quick thinking, amazing adaptability from Julio. Read the perfect situation. He read the situation perfectly. And he remembered that he had 2 smoke grenades in hand. So, why on earth not just toss them down, hide in the smoke, get the diffuser down, because Nesk Probably won't be able to find him if he continues to just run out through the smoke. And just like that, NIP and Julio more or less managed to secure that round for NIP. Beautiful stuff, really. So Team Liquid so far, they haven't managed to get a single defensive victory. They haven't managed to defend armory lockers at all. They failed to defend armory and archives twice. They lost twice on the upper bomb site. And they lost once so far downstairs in the ventilation and workshop. So second time's a charm for them. Second time's a charm for Team Liquid. They're going to do exactly the same thing that they've done in the previous round. Have Paulu on the bandit, putting shock wires on the armory wall. And they're going to hold the armory and archives with an iron fist and try to deny NIP any entry into armory at all, or just waste their time as much as possible. Last time Psycho was on the Ash, and surprisingly enough, he did manage to down Paulu, and then Pino managed to later pick him up with a grenade. But as of right now, they don't have any 3 speeds besides Muzi on that IQ, who IQ is a very valuable operator to have and keep alive. So they're not going to have anyone just blatantly rush into the armory to try to kill Paulu with a simple click on the head. They're going to have to resort to more traditional solutions, in this case for getting armory wall open. Psycho will pick up a kill with the silence pistol onto Sexy Cake. Maestro going down relatively early in the round does not bode well for Team Liquid at all. Logic bombs from Julia will come out, and Muzi will pick up a kill onto Neska as well. That is 2 of the top fraggers from Team Liquid off the board, and Julia will pick up a 3rd kill. The 3rd kill for NIP. That is PSK off of the board, and Paulu is left on very low HP, and NIP have just over 60 seconds left to make something work. Paulu picks up a kill onto Psycho, and he's being challenged by the armory door, and he will not manage to pick up the frag. Now it's all to Moringa on the smoke with the SMG-11 in hand. NIP, they've managed to pick up the diffuser, and there's one inside a bathroom. Pino is over by the metal stairs, customs doorway, and I think there may be one upstairs as well. Moringa will run outside from sights straight into the clutching arms of Pino, and he will go down. Ninjas in pajamas on match point. Team Liquid are in dire straits right now. Nothing has gone their way, really. Nothing has gone their way on the defensive side this match. They haven't been able to win ventilation room and workshop twice so far. They haven't managed to win armory lockers and archives twice. So they're gonna go from the 2 quote-unquote playable sites on this map to the 3rd quote-unquote sort of slightly playable site on this map. I really don't see this happening. Team Liquid, they might have something really sneaky in stock. They don't even have a Kaid. They don't have a Kaid on this roster. I don't know what their game plan is here, but just from the get-go, things don't even look like they're gonna go in Team Liquid's favor. They're going to set up a bunch of reinforcements inside of CCTV and probably put 2, if not 3 players upstairs. Definitely 2. I'm pretty sure that's going to be Paulu and probably PSK upstairs in CCTV. Just holding as much control and denying NIP any entry from the CCTV room and denying, trying to keep those hatches closed for as long as possible. NIP, they also did have the option to bring a Hibana if they so pleased. It definitely would have made things a bit more easier having two exothermic charges, allowing two exothermic charges to be used, one over by the jail wall and one over by the passport wall, the leftmost passport wall looking into the customs room. And then they also would have had Hibana able to use those Exkyros pellets to not only, for example, open up the CCTV wall to create some extra lines of sight, but to also open up those hatches which have been reinforced. And seeing as Team Liquid did not choose to bring a Kaid, also bringing Hibana would have been quite ideal. NIP did not bring a Thatcher, however, in this situation. So if Team Liquid brought a Kaid, they could have probably just ditched the upstairs site altogether if they wanted to. But nevertheless, Muzi is already inside of Archives, and he finds himself staring down a tight angle towards the half wall. Little does he know that Nesk is actually inside of the small office with the rotation hole, so he can move freely between the two rooms. He'll get droned out by one of the NIP players. Team Liquid know exactly where he is, and NIP know exactly where he is, and they're gonna slowly but surely push him. They only have one player pushing in from the east side. They don't have a single person on the armory doorway, which in this case is smart for NIP to not push from the armory doorway, seeing as there is at least one roamer upstairs in CCTV. So Julio picks up a kill onto Sexy Cake. That is the smoke off the board, and Julio's already inside a jail. He spots one under the table. Shots do not land, unfortunately. And Kamikaze will get the frag onto Moringa, putting the man count at 3 for Team Liquid. Paulo picks up a kill onto Pino and Muzi, one more onto Nesk. PSK, one more onto Julio. Frags are coming out left and right here, and there's only 20 seconds left on the board. Pino picks up a double and a triple kill onto Kamikaze, who was just jumping out of the supply room window. Now it's all up to Muzi. He's got 15 seconds left, and he doesn't have diffuser in hand at all. He goes through the rotation over by the 90 hallway to maybe catch Paulu off guard, but Paulu is ready for Muzi. With that MP5 in hand, he will pick up Muzi and put an extra round on the board for Team Liquid. The score is 6-5, and Team Liquid, they are one round closer to at least etching out a draw in this situation. And who would have thought? Who would have thought that Armory and Archives didn't work, just outright didn't work twice in a row for Team Liquid. Ventilation and Workshop also didn't work. Two of the most well-known and relatively have been played a lot sites in this entire game just did not work at all for Team Liquid. They just didn't work. But the second that they go to Customs, which is a site that has always been frowned upon throughout the history of Rainbow Six Siege, they win it in such, I want to say, a despicable fashion, really. It was crazy. That was pretty crazy. So Team Liquid, their last banner of hope will be to go upstairs into the armory lockers and try to etch out a tie, grabbing themselves 1 point out of this match and denying NIP 3 points in total. Excuse me. PSK will challenge the front door, which was just freshly opened by the attackers, and I thought that PSK actually managed to land a few shots onto one of the attackers that was running by, but unfortunately he didn't even tag him with a single bullet. If PSK would have managed to get such an early frag into the round, then that would have really boded well in Team Liquid's favor. Pino is already inside a jail, and I think he already has eyes on PSK, or at least he knows that there is one inside of the customs. And PSK, the Valkyrie, will go down at the hands of Julio. I don't even think that Julio used a single one of his logic bombs to pinpoint the location of PSK. But that's completely fine for NIP. On the other hand, not so fine for Team Liquid, because they do have a man disadvantage, and they have a lot more time to wait out through. One logic bomb comes out from Julio, and Moringa will tag Psycho quite a lot with that Alda, but he won't manage to pick up the frag, although he has left Psycho on very low HP. There are 90 seconds left, and Sexy Cake will go down at the hands of Julio with that Mark 14 EBR in hand. One is on the sandwich window, relatively strong position for an attacker to be repelling on. And they've already cut off the rotation for most of the defenders. One will slowly creep up the metal staircase, and Julio will be caught on his phone, and Paulo will pick up a free kill onto him. Frag grenade comes out from Pino and takes Nesk off the board, and Paulo will be caught outside. Goes down at the hands of Pino, and now Moringa all alone. A chunky little one speed. But he does have an Alda in hand. Let's see what can happen. Kamikaze will disconnect, but that's completely fine. The round will just go on. He will be droned out. NIP have Moringa's location. And now Psycho on low HP is free to go down for a plant. He will plant at the doorway, but no, he'll rush into the small office. Very confusing, and he'll go down at the hands of Moringa. IQ Muzi is slowly peeking him. He just peeked his head for a slight second, and Moringa didn't manage to get the frag. Muzi will go prone, and he will get the winning frag for NIP. Ninjas in Pajamas managed to pull out 3 points from this victory, thus furthering their position on the Latin American leaderboard. Excuse me, leaderboard. Did I say pleaderboard? I meant leaderboard, but okay, sure. So, thank you all so much for watching. Hope everyone enjoyed this, and until the next video, everyone have a nice day.